It's time to talk about early pioneers in psychology who were women. A lot of the big names are men, and there are a lot of reasons for that. A huge reason is that a lot of universities still had restrictions where they did not admit women. A lot of the big programs the big graduate programs in psychology where you could get a PhD, you could get a doctorate in psychology, by and large, they did not allow women in the classes, and they did not admit women to the programs, so they could not earn a degree. I mean, that is a huge barrier to working in psychology in a field where you need a particular degree, and there are no programs that would admit you to earn that degree. That is a huge barrier. But still, some people did persist. One of the earlier figures in psychology, earlier female figures in psychology, is Mary Calkins. Mary Calkins was a student of William James, which it's even kind of tricky to say that she was unofficially a student of William James. James met her, and by reports, he instantly knew that she was brilliant. Where he taught, she was not allowed to attend. She was not allowed to enroll in classes, but she was allowed to sit in on classes. So she sat in on his classes. Wasn't an official student. Got to participate. She might have been tested too, but she was in the classes, but she didn't get a transcript or anything like that to say that she was officially enrolled. And she wanted to learn. He let her learn, and he was never. He was never anything short of impressed with her performance. So at Harvard, where he was, at Harvard University, she completed the requirements for a PhD, but since she was a woman, she didn't actually get her PhD, even though James made it very clear that not only would she have gotten that PhD, that it was actually the most brilliant examination for the PhD that we have had at Harvard. So it wasn't just good enough. It was very good, but officially she did not receive her PhD. Now, another big name, and also I need to mention that Mary Calkins, was the first female president of the American Psychological Association. And that was in 1905. All right, the second female president of the American Psychological Association was Margaret Floyd Washburn. And Washburn was able to officially get a PhD in psychology. She was the first female in America to obtain her PhD in psychology in 1894. And then she eventually, in 1921, she became the second female president of the American Psychological Association. She also wrote a very influential book called The Animal Mind, which is became a leading resource on animal cognition. Now, some students may be thinking, animal cognition, are we studying animal thinking too? Some psychologists do study animals, and in some times in history, there were a lot of psychologists that study animals. There is a field of psychology called Comparative Psychology, which specifically studies animals and animal behavior, sometimes to learn about the animals themselves, and other times to extrapolate to human beings. All right, so yes, animal research is also a part of psychology, and one of the early figures happened to be a female.